In this video, I'm going to show you how you can save the toolpaths from Carveco Maker and convert them into a format that your CNC or laser machine will understand and you can get cutting. There are a couple of ways that you can get into the mode to save the toolpaths. One is to right click on Toolpaths here and then select Save Toolpaths As. And another way is to actually select whichever toolpath and then click Save Toolpaths down here. What I would advise doing is selecting Toolpaths and then selecting the very first icon, which is Save Toolpaths. Now, if I click that, you can see that it opens up the Save Toolpaths dialog. And you can see that it says Toolpaths to save, and I've got my 3 different toolpaths on the right hand side here. If I were to do that on one of these, so if I select the V-bit carving and then select Save Toolpath, you can see it's only the V-bit carving that's on the right hand side, so that's the only one that it's going to save. The other 2 are located on the left hand side, which means that they're not going to be saved. Okay, and in order to save them, you need to move them over. So you can do that with the arrows, or you can grab and just drop them and they can be moved over. And you can do that backwards as well, so you can move them back over here if you like. Okay, so what I would strongly advise doing is just go into Save Toolpaths. Okay, and you can always move them over and just tell the program that you don't want to save this particular toolpath if you wanted to. Okay, so this brings up the Save Toolpaths dialog. Now, on the left-hand side, it gives you calculated toolpaths. So as I was just explaining, these are toolpaths that are not going to be saved. So the ones on the right are the ones that are going to be saved. Now, at the moment, what you need to watch out for is that all of these toolpaths use the same tool number. So I've got tool number 1 for all 3 of them, even though one of these tools is different. So I've got a 32mm V-bit and I'm also using a 6mm end mill. So both of them are different. So if that is the case, then what you can do, there are a couple of things that you can do. Let's say this end mill, this 6mm, they're both the same tool. So what I can do is grab that and move that over there. And then if I were to select save, because they're both using the 6mm end mill, everything's going to be fine. The only thing that I need to watch out for is that if I move this out of the way, you see the area clear, this is just doing a small recess, okay? And then the profile is cutting it out. So if I happened to have that one up there, it would save them in this order. It would actually cut the part out and then go to do the area clearance. So that's another thing that you need to watch out for, okay? Make sure that you've got them in your correct order that you want them to actually machine, okay? Now, if you have a tool changer, you wouldn't have to worry about this. So you would just have this over here and you would have this set up as a different tool number, and then you would just go and save it, and the CNC machine would automatically know that it would need to go and change that tool, okay? Now, what you can also do is save toolpaths to separate files, because what you would need to do is, if these were all completely different tools, then what you would need to do is just leave one of them over there, save it, bring another one back over, save that one, and so forth. What you can do with this is, let's just drop that down to the bottom, is save toolpaths to separate files. So it's going to create a new toolpath for each of these. So it's going to give me 3 different pieces of code that I can send to the machine and do 3 different processes in order to create my job. You can also append the toolpath details to file names. So what this will do, it will add V-bit carving, area clear, profile, and then also the tool names that I'm going to use as well. And it just makes it easier for me to identify which toolpath is which. So if I turn that on, it will add it to it. Now, you've also got add a home move at the end of files. So when you're setting up your toolpath, at the bottom, you would have seen home X, Y, and Z, and also a save Z. So the home X and Y and Z, this is basically telling it to go there at the end of the file. Now, you could have this set to be at the back of the machine, and then the program would automatically go to the back of the machine once you finish cutting, so you can unload your material. Okay, you just need to set that up in the toolpath. So maybe you would set it to be maybe negative 48 inches by 48 inches, and it would go 4 foot by 4 foot to the back of the machine. When you want to actually save them, what you need to do is select Browse, and this will ask you for the location that you want to save these. So let's say this hole-in-one. I'll call it hole-in-one. Okay, now make a note of the file name here. So it's just called hole-in-one. Select Open, and then that becomes the active folder that it's going to save in, and that's the file name. Now, I have seen people do this where it just goes directly to the CNC machine over a network. So you just need to browse to the CNC on the network, and it would automatically place it on the CNC's memory. Now, it doesn't do that for every machine. I've just seen it on certain machines. The machine file format, this is probably the most important part of it. This is basically what is known as post-processors. So this basically means that it's going to convert the information from Carveco Maker into a format that your CNC or laser machine will understand. And it's just what we call G codes and its coordinates. So it just tells the machine what to do in order to create this job. So if you go to machine file format, there's lots and lots of different post processors under here, and you can just browse through them. Now, if I choose a generic one, so let's just go to a G-code ARCS one, which is a TAP file. Just select the machine file format that you want, and then select Save. And then it places it within that hole-in-one folder. Now I've got that open down the bottom here, so if I open up that folder, you can see that I've got these 3 different toolpath files. Now, if I make that a bit larger, you can see that it's added this information onto the end of it, so I know exactly what this is. Okay, so this is just so you know what they are. These, you can actually open them in a word processing application. So just a WordPad or Notepad, for instance. So if you right click and then just select Open With, and then just choose WordPad or anything that you have, like that. And then this basically just displays what is in these files. And you can see that it's just text. So all that it is just what we call G codes. So these are commands, basically telling it to turn on the spindle, say for instance. And then you've got X and Y coordinates. So this is telling it where to go when it's actually cutting. Okay, so that's all that it outputs. And then what you need to do is send these one by one to your CNC machine, and then you can get cutting. So that's how you save toolpaths within Carveco Maker.